Hello there, Lisa here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be looking at the final version, no longer a prototype, of the Unicorn's Journey Oracle. I'm so happy to bring this baby home and have it next to my tarot and mini for the Unicorn's Journey world. I'm so excited to show the final version of this to you. I will be comparing it to the original prototype version that I had, so you can see the changes that I've made. So I'll talk through a few of those and we'll do a full walkthrough of the cards. But first, if you're new here, hello, my name is Lisa. I am a content creator here on YouTube, but I am also a tarot deck creator, obviously, and an author, and I will throw an infographic up where you can see all of my work and where you can get it. These just landed on my doorstep at the time I'm filming this. I'm hoping to get this video up in the next week or so you can see them. The big shipment of these is on a boat right now, headed to the States. It will be landing probably in another, at the time I'm filming anyways, I'm thinking it'll probably land around the 20th of October, maybe sooner if we're lucky. Maybe sooner, hopefully sooner. And then it needs to truck over to my fulfillment center, which is in the Midwest. So once my fulfillment center gets all of the decks, they'll be shipping out to Kickstarter backers and those who have pre-ordered. So you do still have a little bit of time left to pre-order this deck if it is of interest to you. And when you pre-order, or if you are a Kickstarter backer, you also had an opportunity to add on the flagship tarot deck, Unicorn's Journey Tarot, in the standard or the mini. And then of course the Sassy Dragons decks are also available as add-ons. So I've previously showed in a video, you can see, like, look at the color difference. Prototypes are always a little bit different because they are digitally printed. It's a little bit of a different process, so the quality of the colors is not quite as vibrant. But here we have the final version. You can see that I made a couple of changes to the box design. Namely, I made the title much bigger and darkened the border around the text. We have a spot gloss, which is much more obvious on the final version than the original prototype, probably because this has a rose petal finish and the original prototype was supposed to have a rose petal finish, but did not. The box maker had claimed that it did, but it was not. So they've corrected that, obviously. But you can just see how much richer the colors are in the final version of the deck, and it just came out beautiful. So I also did increase the font size a little bit on the spine, and I also increased the font size on the back, as well as darkened the border on the letters so that they were much easier to read. I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera. Made the ISBN barcode just a little bit bigger, just like little changes like that. Just kind of tweaked things a bit. But for the most part, this is the same thing. There are some other changes. I have a copy of the prototype in order so I can show you. Oh my gosh, okay. First of all, I am so excited about the ribbon color, like more than I should be. The prototype didn't have a ribbon, which is normal. They don't usually come with ribbons in the prototypes, but I'm always picking the ribbons off of photos that the printer sends me. And honestly, you have very few colors to choose from in the grand scheme of things compared to like how many colors I can choose, say, for the card edges and things like that. So the inside of the box, we have the beautiful ribbon lift out, which just perfectly, like it just perfectly matches. It's very satisfying. Inside, of course, just like in the tarot, we have May Your Magic Always Shine from the inside out, which is my little like thingy that I like to say. There's a quote on the inside flap: "To be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best night and day to make you everybody else means to fight the hardest battle which any human can fight and never stop fighting." So as you can see, compared to the, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but compared to the prototype, the quote is a little bit bigger. It is spot gloss, so when you shift it in the light, it's actually much easier to read than it is probably on camera. But I also did put a border behind the letters. This had a white border, so it was a little bit fuzzy looking. This has like a darker blue border, so it pops much nicer. Like in real life, this is much easier to read. Same quote, but just sort of brightened up. Okay, so then we of course have our certificate of authenticity. So the copy that I'm showing is copy number 834. It is like a fuchsia-like foil. So this is the same type of certificate I have for all of my decks. I love that there's some cohesion between the certificates that I offer. So then we have the guidebook, which is virtually the same. The only change I made here again is I changed the layout of the title a little bit, shifted my name down a bit, but otherwise this is the same, basically looks the same. I also did, this is such a small change, but I did update the colors on the guidebook pages to be the same hex codes. I don't think they showed up, like that's really brown. I don't know why that looks so brown. It is what it is. It's meant to be like a brick red, but it's supposed to be the same hex code as what I have inside the UJT. Actually, that actually looks pretty brown in this light too, if I'm being honest. They're both They're basically the same. It's going to be slightly different because these are two different printers, but they're very close. So I did match the suit colors. Oh, see, like you can really see it actually. If I do this, they actually are very similar. I'm just like neurotic. But the Oracle page edges are meant to be similarly color associated as the tarot suit edges, page edges that are color coded to the suit. So you have green for earth or yellow for air, red for fire, and this teal for water. And it's the same in the UJO book. I'm really happy with everything. Okay, so that changed from the original version. The guidebook quality is nicer in this final version. I feel like they used a higher quality paper for the final version than the prototype. I wasn't super thrilled with how stiff the book felt in the prototype, and you can kind of see it does that. But the final version is just beautiful. The paper quality is lovely. It feels exactly like what I was expecting. So I'm very happy with that update as well. Okay, so that's the book. I will show you the anatomy of the book later because the innards of the book are exactly the same. So let's take a look at the cards. So this is, again, the final version. So we have our backs and our beautiful contrast blue edges to match the sky blue. It's not the exact same shade. It's the closest match I could get in the Pantone color wheel though. I even actually bought Pantone color cards, which are hideously expensive, so that I could color check everything. And it's really nice. The edging is really nice and opaque. It just looks beautiful. So I'm very, very happy with all of that. So prototype wise, there's been very few changes. So I will just keep the prototype off to the side and only pull it in where I've made a change so you can see what changes were made from the prototype to the final version. I'm going to zoom us in and we're going to do a quick little flip through. I'm not going to linger for a long time, but we're just going to flip through the cards, and where there's a change, I will point it out. So here's one. So in the Divine Connection card, the keywords underneath Divine Connection are spiritual oneness, faith, and I had limitless. Now I have limitlessness. It's just, it feels more cohesive with the way that I have the words. This one is the same. And so if you're just curious what all the cards look like, feel free to make this big or watch this on a bigger device. You can read everything, but this is basically the same. Cardstock is the same. Oh, and I don't know if that's the really nice foil detailing on the backs, which in this light, it's kind of hard to tell when you get it. There you go. You can see the rainbow. It is a holographic sparkle gold foil, which really is cool in person. It doesn't pick up on camera as well as I'd like, but there we go. Here we have, yes, resistance. So I used to have stubborn, opposition, and rebellion. Now I have obstinance, opposition, and rebellion. Same kind of idea though. Serenity. Oh, the other change, I forgot to point this out. Okay, so you can really see it here. So the other change is you can see that I shifted the banner of the text banner up just a bit. See the difference there? And made it just a little teeny bit taller. It just gave a little bit more space, and it just feels and looks less cramped at the bottom of the card. It feels a lot more balanced. We wanted just a bit more artwork peeking out the bottom here below the banner. So I made that change for the final version also. I think most of these though are going to be the same. The artwork didn't change, except in a couple spots. Okay, so here's another one. We had wounded, now we have woundedness. So I added the ness because, again, most of the keywords and titles are sort of states of being. And it felt more cohesive when I made that more consistent throughout. These are the same. I love the burnout cards so much. And once I've done this flip through, I'll give it a good shuffle and you can really see the cardstock just shines in these decks. I love using the highest quality cardstock I can get is like, it's such an important thing to me. So beautiful. I love the tactile experience. They're so comfortable to shuffle. They'll hold up. And so you can tell the suit that you're in because of the characters and the cards. So I don't know that I've really clarified this, but let me just show you where we're at right now. So the spirit suit, which is the first suit, is all mystic. Every single card will have Mystic in the card. Mystic is our main classic sort of white unicorn character from the Unicorn's Journey Tarot. So Mystic is in every single card without exception when you're in the spirit suit. So if you see Mystic, you know you're in the spirit suit, okay? In the fire suit, all of the unicorns are the fire unicorns or the dragons that were featured in the Unicorn's Journey Tarot. So you either will see fire unicorns or dragons or both in the fire suit. So really super obvious. The fire dragons are black with fiery manes and bronze horns. And then in the water suit, you will see the Oh, I forgot to show you the difference in this card. This is pretense. It was deceit, concealment, and misleading, and is now deceit, concealment, and duplicity. Keywords really matter to me, so I really agonized about keywords, as you can tell. Anyway, in the water suit, you will see the water unicorns, but instead of like in the tarot, when we see the water unicorns, I'm just going to show you, they're mostly out of the water, or you're just seeing them, their heads poking above the water, because the nature is that they are interacting with our main unicorn mystic. So when you see the sea unicorns, they're kind of like mermaids from the movie Splash, you know, when they're on land, they're on 4 legs, and when they're underwater, they have these beautiful mertails. So in the Unicorn's Journey Tarot, because of the nature of the fact that they're interacting with Mystic who cannot go underwater, we mostly see them in their land form, or they're poking above the water like this. Or we can see bits of their tails in the distance. But I couldn't really highlight them. And then these are the sea nymphs, which show up in the UJT. I couldn't highlight them underwater the way that I would have liked to. A little bit in the quartz I got to. So Page of Water, Knight of Water, Queen of Water, and King of Water. We get a little hint of their underwater realm. But part of the story in the Unicorn's Journey Tarot about the water unicorns was Mystic having to sort of come to terms with the idea that she couldn't live with them underwater, right? So that's a thing. But anyways, in the Oracle, I very intentionally, we go underwater and we get to see them in their underwater realm, which is really special. So anyways, we have water unicorns, or we'll see the sea nymphs, either together or separate, and that's how you'll know you're in the water suit. No real changes to keywords here, but there is an art change. It was already made by the time this prototype came out, but there used to only be like 5 of the octopus's legs that were, or limbs that were visible. What do you call them again? Limbs, tentacles? I don't know. Limbs, I think. Legs? I don't know. Somebody corrected me on this. Arms? I don't know. And I forget the correct term. I'm so sorry. Anyways, somebody in my Supportive Tarot Facebook group, I believe it was Renee. I think her name was Renee. I could be wrong. Forgive me for being terrible with names. She pointed out that really bugged her, because she's like, they should have 8 legs. And I mean, he did have 8 legs. The point is that he's hiding in the coral, but having them be more visible was an easy change to make with the artwork. And Francesca was happy to make that change. I was happy to make that change. So we did update it to make sure that you can count. If you count, you can count 8 legs or limbs or arms or whatever they're called. Y'all, this is why I will never make a deck that is just like exclusively animals, because I'm ridiculous. Like, nobody would take me seriously if I did that. But of course I like creatures, and I do like octopus. So octopuses, I don't know. Anyway, so that's fixed. Empathy. The deck, if you don't already know, is very balanced. So every suit has a mix of positive, shadowy, and neutral cards. Somebody in a comment on YouTube asked me exactly what the mix was, because of course there's 14 cards per suit. So you can't evenly divide that by 3 and get equal, equal, equal. Where I needed to skimp, I did not skimp in the shadow department, because positive and neutral can kind of be semi-interchangeable. But I did actually post the full stats. If you want to know the exact, like I have a spreadsheet. If you want to know the exact breakdown, I have it on a comment here on YouTube somewhere. I can definitely dig it up for you. But I'm a nerd, and I planned it very intentionally to be balanced. Okay, we have our manipulation card, nurturing, passivity. Here's the other octopus. So this was a slight art change. So again, you can only really see some of the limbs, legs, arms. I'm so terrible. It's been updated, so if you really wanted to, you could count, you could find them all. Some of them are just hidden by nature of the position. You can't make them all visible, but Francesca made sure that we could see some. So anyways, that's been tweaked. Rejection, that shame card is so potent. Solitude. Again, most of these, there's really no changes from the prototype. I'm just flipping both as we go. This is one. No, this stayed the same. Okay. All right. So now in the air suit, you're going to see the air sylphs and the air unicorns, which are the winged unicorns. If you see winged unicorns or these air creatures, you'll know you're in the air suit. Clarity card. This is my card that has a labyrinth in it. I love labyrinth symbology. That's a whole thing. Communication. So the elements are not here just for show. The themes covered in every suit are elementally attuned to that suit, essentially. So you're going to see themes around air-related things. So things around the mind, communication, how we think, how we speak, how we listen in the air suit. Emotion and relating is in the water suit. The fire suit's going to have passion and purpose and confidence and that sort of stuff. And so you're going to see that elemental balance also present throughout the deck, which also helps to make sure that sort of all the areas of life are covered by this oracle deck. It is really meant to be the kind of thing that you can read with just like a tarot deck. You don't need to also have the tarot. It's not meant to be just a clarifier or just a buddy or partner to the Unicorn's Journey Tarot. It's meant to stand on its own, and it works very, very well for that. I love using it with the UJT, but you do not have to at all. I don't want people thinking that it's like gotta catch them all situation. It really isn't. If you're more of an oracle reader than a tarot reader and you're more drawn to this, that's great. That's great. Love these cards. I think we have one or two little changes in the art. I think mostly just how I positioned the card, but actually these are very, I tweaked these a couple times just to make sure that the whole unicorn was in, but I think I'd fixed most of that by the time I got to the prototype stage. The poor people who I sent review copies to, by the way, I was like, I think I changed this and this, and sometimes they were like reading off the changes and I'm like, oh shoot, that's already on your copy. But you can see there's like almost no changes. The colors are a little richer always on the final print. That's just always how it goes. And rooted, groundedness, yeah, these stayed the same. I think I might have changed my zoom. No, this is the same. Shaky ground. This one changed a bit. So I zoomed this card in a bit more. I just really want to focus on the fact that they are watering and feeding the plants here. And also as I moved this banner up, on this older version, it would have covered too much of this particular guy. So zooming in just became important for the framing of the card. But you can still see a little peek of the sky. We are still in front of our little like almost Hobbit style houses that exist in the Earth realm. So that's super fun. And then we have wisdom. And that is it. So very, very few changes. Let me just zoom out and we'll do some shuffling so you can see what that looks like. But very few changes from the prototype. So if you backed on Kickstarter, there shouldn't be a whole lot here. Most people, the things I'm pointing out, most people wouldn't even notice. They're just like little things that I feel make it better. And so they're important to me to do. But it's just my perfectionist stuff coming through. But, oh God, that shuffle. Like, I love that you can slow-mo a good linen. You know what I mean? Like, let me just, I'm not going to mess with the camera at all in editing. That's all real time. Real time slow-mo shuffle is just, and I cannot stop sniffing this deck. When they're fresh from the printer and they just smell all inky and delicious. Oh my gosh. I don't know what my issue is. I have issues. Anyway, let's take a quick look at the anatomy of the guidebook just to remind you of kind of how that's set up. And it's very similar. So in the UJT, it's different, but it's different, but it's similar. Okay, so in the UJT, we had a little story blurb. We had a comparison. This is where we get into the symbology in the tarot and the way I compare it to the Rider-Waite-Smith. So if you are curious about the tarot, I do that section because a lot of times, if you go your own way in a tarot deck, it's incredibly helpful if you can understand how what I've done in that card is similar to the Rider-Waite-Smith or how the symbols carry over. So I do that in the tarot. Now this stuff wasn't needed for the oracle, but we also have an upright, a reverse meaning, and self-worth advice from this is self-worth advice from the King of Fire because that's a court card. But the not court cards just had a self-worth message. I wanted to carry through that same sort of theming for the oracle with the self-worth. So what I did, this guidebook is slimmer because we only have one page per card, but I really wanted the deck to work out of the box without having to dig into the guidebook. But if you do go to the guidebook, I wanted it to feel like it was giving you something useful. So what you're going to find, you're not going to find a lot of fluff in the beginning. There's like a little introduction that tells you about the deck, and then you get right into card descriptions because the way that these are done is you have the title of the card and the keywords right at the top of the page. Then you have a little description of what you're seeing happening in the card. And sometimes that's helpful because while it may be obvious to me what's happening in the card, it may not be obvious to somebody else who's looking at it. So I like to describe what's happening. So if you're ever like, what the heck is going on here? Just read that section and that will clarify it for you. Then you get an inner reading. Now I don't do uprights and reversals because I've designed the oracle itself to have more upright, like more positive, shadowy, and neutral meanings baked in. So the idea is that the card itself is going to lean a particular direction. And so it'll function that way regardless. But you have an inner reading. And the reading will also sort of give you an idea of like how to interpret that card if you're struggling. Then we have a self-worth message. And then there's journal prompts, which you can also use as a 3-card spread. And I've gone through all of these prompts so that they are like I wrote them, and then I tweaked them, and then I tweaked them some more because my idea is that I want them to function well as either purpose. So if you're the type of person to just reflect on the question or to journal, you can do that. So for example, in the Awakening card, it's what new understanding is shifting my perspective? What truth am I on the verge of uncovering? And how can I stay open to moments of awakening? Now that's meant to function either as a card spread or as journal prompts. So what's great about that is like, let's say you are working with this deck and you've shuffled it, whatever. And so you've pulled a card. Let's just go through this in real time. So you pull a card and you got metamorphosis. So this is transformation, rebirth, and evolution. We see Mystic, who's come across a phoenix nest. Phoenix is just hatching. And so Mystic is like contemplating these ideas of metamorphosis, right? So I'm going to go to the metamorphosis card. Mystic's in the card, so I know I'm in the spirit suit, and they're alphabetical once you get into that suit. So I didn't number the cards or anything. So you go to metamorphosis, and it says Mystic leans down, their nose nearly touching a baby phoenix emerging from a bed of ashes. Wisps of heat curl from the smoldering remnants of the tiny bird's former self, a new beginning emerging from what was left behind. In a reading, it says, this is a time of change for you. Like the phoenix, you may be emerging from a difficult cycle, shedding old identities, beliefs, or circumstances that no longer serve you. Transformation is not always easy and often asks you to let something go before you can begin anew. Trust that what is unfolding is necessary for your evolution. You are not who you were before. The self-worth message. Personal growth asks you to let go of who you are. As you stop clinging to what was, you allow yourself to truly rise. Honor this time of becoming. So now we have our 3 journal prompts. So I'm going to just grab my Unicorn's Journey Tarot, my mini, because this is all shuffled up. My full size isn't right now. And I'm going to pull 3 cards for the journal prompts to surround this energy, because this is how I enjoy using this combo of decks for myself, okay? Usually with the full size, but mini works great here too. Okay, so around metamorphosis, here's our journal prompts. Okay, so the first prompt is, what part of me is undergoing transformation right now? So I'm gonna split the deck and pull a card, the 9 of Air. So what's transforming for me right now is my relationship with fear. That is changing. I'm being less afraid. I'm feeling more embodied. I'm feeling more sure of myself. That feels very accurate, right? So the next prompt is, what do I need to release in order to fully embrace this change? Okay, so I'm going to pull another card, and I have the 6 of Earth, reciprocity. To me, this is going to be about feeling like everything has to be transactional. Like my worth is dependent on what I do, and if I don't function within this transactional space, that I'm not worthy, that's where a lot of my fear rests. So if I want to move beyond the fear, if I want to let that truly go, I need to be willing to shift my thinking around that. So that's what I need to release. And then lastly, it is, how can I support myself through this period of personal evolution? I'm going to pull a 3rd card, the Wheel of Fortune. I can support myself by being willing to embrace change. Like, look how on point this is. This is meant to function so that when you pull an oracle card, you know what you can do with it. So if you're somebody who's like, I don't know, like looking for a good, solid, like daily practice that's kind of guided, this is meant to do that for you. You can pull the oracle card with no question in mind, read about it, and then do the 3-card spread around that energy, and you hopefully will come away with a really comprehensive reading that took like very little effort. That's kind of the punchline. I want you to be able to like incorporate. And if instead you just want to pull a card and journal it, that's cool too. If you want to pull a card and then use the oracle to create the spread, you can totally do that. If you want to just randomly flip through the deck to go, what spread am I going to do today? Boop. And then you go, oh, okay, it looks like I got the evaluation spread. And then just don't pull the card, but just like flip through the book and just pick a spread and just do that spread. So you've basically got a book of 70 spreads and you've got an oracle deck. You know what I mean? Like, it's meant to be like so multifunctional and useful. I'm a big fan of everything being in the deck for a reason. Like or in the book for a reason. I want it to be super functional and to feel just super useful. My magnetic wraparound box. And if you're a big fan of sets, like these are perfectly aligned. Like it's possible there's a slight difference in they're literally meant so that you can set them on the shelf and they will look like they belong together. There is ever so slight of a difference, just because, I used 2 different printers for these decks too. So I did switch printers after Unicorn's Journey Tarot, and I'm so happy with my new printer, but this is the same printer that did Sassy Dragons Tarots for Peggy and I. So yeah, anyways, they're meant to really like just match as much as I can match things. But keep in mind, I am not a graphic designer by trade. I've done all of this myself. Like the artwork was all illustrated by Francesca at my direction, and I'm just so happy with how everything's turned out. And I would like to do a Lenormand to complete this set and this like family. That hasn't been even started yet. So that's just hey, I'd like to do that. So I have spoken with Francesca about it. It is something that we're hoping / planning to do. So, keep your eyes out for that to happen in the future. But in the meantime, the Unicorn's Journey deck family is currently complete with the tarot, the oracle, and the mini, and I'm just, she's finally home and I'm so happy. So these are my babies, and yes, thank you so much for all of your support of this project. Once the Kickstarter backers orders have been sent and the pre-orders, the late pledge pre-orders have been shipped from my fulfillment center, and I'm pretty sure that a good portion of those are trucking along nice and smooth. I will open up the Etsy store so that these can start being sold as like individual. I do have some extra stock coming in so that they can be sold through my Etsy shop after. So don't worry if you miss the pre-order. I mean, the pre-order right now, the late pledge pre-order is a better price than you will find on Etsy. And unfortunately, I am much more limited which countries I can ship to from Etsy the way that I'm set up right now. So if you are not in like the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, EU, or UK, there's a good chance I won't be able to ship to you from my Etsy shop. So if you are in a country outside of those major areas, you might want to consider snapping up a late pledge if you're still interested in picking this up. So that's, I think, all the housekeeping things. Thank you so much again. As always, I'm so pleased to be able to show the final version, and I'm so happy to have it in front of me. So I cannot wait to see it in all of your hands and to hear about your experiences with it and how it works. As always, if you have ordered this or backed it on Kickstarter and you get it in, if you share it anywhere on social media, please tag me. You can tag me on YouTube by typing in @Lisa, and I think it's under Lisa_Papez. You'll see it down below on my channel header thingy. If you want to tag me on Instagram, I'm just @LisaPapez, all one word. And if it's anywhere else, I might not spot it. I'm not real good at being on places other than YouTube or on Facebook, of course. If you want to share pictures or experiences in the Supportive Tarot Facebook group, that would be amazing. I just love seeing the things that I create in other people's hands. But again, we are a little ways off from shipping still. Probably on track for near the end of November. If we're lucky, it'll be sooner. And that means Etsy sales would be opening up probably near the beginning of the year, possibly sometime in December, but that's dicey because shipping in December is dicey. But keep your eyes peeled. It will be out in the world very, very soon. All right. Thank you all so much. And until next time, may your magic always shine from the inside out.